now?
Yes.
Hi.
It is my soul sister.
What's happening?
Oh, my stars, you look amazing. So welcome,
thank you.
welcome.
Thank you. So do you. And I love those glasses. They're my fave.
Let me introduce you to our peeps. So we are streaming into our community right now, and we've got over 1,000 women in there that are like-minded. Nice. You know, just they're dedicated to their health. And then over the next few days, we're going to stream into our public page and then onto our email. So we're just trying to touch as many women as possible. And for those of you that don't know Angel, Angel is a gift, and she has been helping, I say women, but she's been helping men and women and connecting mind, body, soul, just an amazing ministry, an amazing practice. So thank you for being with us. And I'm just gonna, I know that you get led to share. So I didn't have a particular agenda because I know you come with one. So Angel, welcome.
You're the best. Thank you. I love that about you. I love that. You know, it was so funny because I was just really leaning into what was needing and wanting to be shared with your group. And it was so cool because it was that whole thread of how the mind, body, soul, spirit, heart, and will are meant to be one. Everything is interconnected, and we're not taught that. You know, we're not taught that as kids when we're being told, why are you eating that? Or why aren't you exercising? And why aren't you, why aren't you happier? Nobody tells us or even demonstrates, shows us, or even examples for us how those things all go hand in hand, how our feelings contribute to what we eat, when we eat, how we eat, how the state of our being contributes to the lack of discipline and wanting to work out, wanting to make healthy choices, having the drive and or the desire to want to make those decisions that help us to live a healthier lifestyle, right? And so it was just emphasizing the importance of really paying attention and listening, and even acknowledging that those things are connected. Our internal state is always trying to communicate externally. So if we're eating something that necessarily tastes good and comforts us, but doesn't make our body feel good, and we've tuned out to that and we're disconnected from that, then we can't support ourselves in getting into a place of empowerment to say, okay, hey, wait a minute, something's off here. I'm eating this food, it's comforting me, but it's in no way nourishing my body. I feel worse than I did before I ate it. Now I'm struggling with guilt and shame and all of this kind of like repressed, self-punishment type thinking. And these are the things that our internal state is trying to express to us, right? It's, hey, pay attention to me because I have so much to share with you. I have so much to tell you, but I need you to want to listen. And that is another thing that a lot of people don't connect to health, right? They don't connect the spirit and the soul aspect. And the spirit and the soul really is the part that drives our decision making. It drives the choices we make. And it's very simple. It is so extremely simple. And for every living human being, it's the same in that we were created for all of our parts to collaborate and come together in supporting us in our walk, in our journey of living a full life. One of, not just feeling good, but feeling good in our body, wanting to feed our body things that bring life to our body. For those who don't know me, 38 years old, was 211 pounds. I lived a very toxic lifestyle, internally, mentally, emotionally disconnected from myself. I was extremely self-sabotaging in my habits, very, very a punish mentality where I would just eat until I was sick. I just wanted to numb out so badly. And what I learned was that when I decided, because I got sick, I had the decision to make. I was either going to go down the road of a really scary kind of surgeries and medications and all of that, or I was going to do whatever I could to try and find a healthy, natural way that I could get my body to kind of reboot and start to work on my behalf. And that's what I chose. And once that decision was made, I started realizing that my deprivation mentality, the way that I believed that if I gave up my macaroni and cheese, if I gave up my ice cream or my Starbucks, that I was deprived in some way. And I really had to go through a mental shift where I realized, and this came through in a lot of doing self love and discovery of who I was and what I needed and wanted. As that self love established within me, then that decision to, you know what, this Starbucks, this mac and cheese, this pizza, that does nothing in the way of make me feel good, right? It was like a drug for me. It was like that numbing out drug. But when I started to see it through truth, and I started to realize, wait a minute, what am I depriving myself of? Pain, right? Inflammation in my body, autoimmune diseases, depression, anxiety. I was killing myself, not just with the food I was eating, but the state my soul and spirit were in this place. I was in a victim mentality. I lied to myself. I had so much blame and judgment against myself that I couldn't even differentiate between accountability and victim mentality. Those were all enmeshed for me. And so when I started to love who I was, and then I started to say, I want to bring life into my body, whether it's what I eat, whether it's, chemicals I don't want to put on my body, right? Perfumes and all of these floral things and just bombarding my system. But then my mind, the thoughts, those self-defeating, destructive, hopeless, despairing thoughts that I was aligning with and I was fueling and I was feeding, that was keeping me in a state of powerlessness. And once I started bringing all those pieces together, my mind, the self-love, the honoring my body, the allowing myself to acknowledge my feelings, to say, I don't feel good. I don't feel good about myself. I'm not happy. I'm not happy with my life. I'm not happy with the way I feel, the way I look. I started realizing that all of my parts were involved in that. This was not just a one lane thing, right? Whether just what I ate or exercise or not, it was all of me. And when I started to really get that, and I started to intentionally tune in to my spirit, to my soul, to my body, part of it was even learning, what is that? What does that mean? Right? Like, how do they feel different? Why are they different? And why are they so important to the outcome of my life? And how do you listen to your spirit? How do you listen to your soul? How do you connect with your body? Our body is amazing at communicating to us what it needs and what it doesn't want.
Yeah.
And see, when we push and push and push and force our body into doing something that it's saying, I don't like that, that's too hard on me, not only are you separating in your soul and your spirit, and you're feeding this part of your soul that says, I gotta be enough, give me more, I have to do this. You're not aligning in your truth, in that harmonious place of balance, to say, that actually doesn't work for me. My body doesn't respond well to that same workout that may work for this person or that person. I need, Pilates, or I need yoga. I need to run or walk, whatever it is. It's allowing for your parts to share with you and express, this is what will work for us. And that's why so many people get so frustrated, because they're seeing all these efforts not have a payoff, not have results. Yeah. And then what happens is they're frustrated, they're discouraged, they feel like a failure. They then feel like, okay, well, my body's not listening to me, it's not cooperating with me, and it creates more division. And so really just feeling impressed upon me to share today with everybody that if you trust yourself in not fighting what your internal is expressing to you externally, and you honor that and really let yourself kind of lean into what feels good and right, your spirit, your soul, your body, heart, mind, and will kind of lead you and guide you into specifically what that looks like for you, so that your body will receive all that it needs to receive and then can produce those benefits and those results that you're really wanting. Because ultimately, that truth of wanting to feel good and what that needs to look like, everybody is in agreement. All your parts are in agreement to that. It's how to get there that most of the time for people, their parts are not in agreement, right? You
Yes.
got one kind
Yes.
of forcing the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so it's a big thing, right? It pertains to every area of our life.
Yeah. And I hear you, I hear you telling our peeps that you're not giving permission for the mac and cheese. You're trying to uncover what's that you're covering up, because you'll choose that versus
Yeah.
listening to your body really doesn't want the inflammation that that food might cause,
The
right?
root of why. You're
Yeah.
identifying the root of why so that you can meet yourself there,
Yeah.
bring honor and love, compassion and empathy into that place, because that your part, your soul, your spirit, your body doesn't feel compassion, empathy, love, and support, or it wouldn't be expressing and trying to stuff it, you know what I mean, disconnect, tune
Yeah.
out. So that's why it's a coping. But if you allow yourself to say, wait a minute, I don't feel better, this is a lie, this reality that when I eat this food that I feel better and it's so good for me, it's a lie. It's a temporary reality, and I want more. I want the real thing, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And then exchanging the experiences. That for me was a big deal, was exchanging all of the lifetime of eating that way and those self-sabotaging habits and those mindsets, defeating mindsets. It was the starting to then replace them and exchange them with truths. So
Yes.
I would then not just say, okay, really, this mac and cheese, it's temporary, it's going to give me a temporary relief, but I would give myself the truth. And that would be, this is not going to make me feel better. It is temporary and I want the real thing. Or my feelings are still there. The pain is still there. And so I would then give myself that truth. And then I would speak my intention. And I would say, my intention is to feel supported, loved, seen, heard, valued, affirmed, reassured, comforted. Whatever I needed in that moment, I would identify it, and then I would meet myself there. And that's where I would then offer something new. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go find another way to make mac and cheese that brings life to my body. I'm not aligning with this deprivation mentality. I'm not going to believe the lies that my mind is trying to say, or even my soul is trying to say, that, this victim mentality. I'm going to be empowered in truth to say, I'm going to find a way to make something absolutely life-giving, that's comforting but beautiful. And that's what I did. I would
Yeah.
substitute those things, and I called it mock mac and cheese. And so I found a delicious way to make mac and cheese that my body just thrived in and just took it in. So I fed my body, soul, spirit, heart, mind, and will. And I empowered myself in saying, I'm not powerless. I'm absolutely in a place where I can do this. So my drive was natural. My discipline was natural.
Yeah.
My energy to do it just presented itself. I didn't have to try and muster up the energy to make the food. It was quick and simple. I customized it to what I wanted, less ingredients, less time, shortcuts all over the place, right?
Right.
And it just met me where I was at. So I felt honored. It was fruitful. Like it was very successful for me in my life. And the buy-in of my parts, it was like, it just grew and grew, and the passion just grew because I started to feel so good, not deprived. My mind started to expand beyond the lie that says there's so much I can do more than what I was believing. And it all just very synergistically fed me in a way that really nurtured my spirit, brought me to life in a way that, we need other things. That is a way of food, right? Food to our spirit, not just food to our body. Yeah. So it was
Yeah.
exciting. It was a revelation of awareness for sure.
Yeah. And every time that I hear you speak, and maybe this will, I don't know, resonate with someone, there's always a light when you talk about coming out of the dark.
Yeah.
You didn't go to another dark, it was very enlightening. Like it was light.
Yeah.
It was all, positive over here. And it wasn't a diet to a diet. And then you found success. You came out of the dark into light, and it felt warming and freeing. And I don't know, every time
Natural.
you,
Yeah.
yeah. And when I hear you talk to groups, that's, I hear that from you, that you found there was a light that accompanied this transformation, right? And we know
Yes.
God guided you, but it was just, yeah, go ahead.
And who God created me to be in my spirit, soul, body, heart, mind, and will came to life
Yeah,
in that way, because now all of me was aligned with this truth that
yeah,
I did out from in a false reality before. And so that's what I mean by everything is connected. It's all connected. So people say, well, I feel like my life has no meaning. I feel lost. I feel, powerless. I just feel so, empty. And that's the truth, is that if this is a way in which we then kind of resurrect within ourselves, right? And that light absolutely is awakened. It comes to life. It was my stand-up moment. It was and I've had several stand-up moments, but it's when you choose to say, am I going to allow myself to naturally come into my created being and live a healthful, full life? Or am I going to stay separated, divided, unreconciled, completely in this place of darkness where there was nothing there for me? I literally was dying a slow death. And that's what happens. We
hmm,
die a slow death until we decide, I want the life that was promised to me, and I am going to choose to make those decisions. And some people get overwhelmed and they think it has to be this whole life change. But for me, it was one step at a time that unlocked the next thing.
yeah,
It was not, it was very progressive for me. And it was hard because I was exchanging all of these old beliefs and mentalities and habits and all of that. But where I felt very supported was that I didn't overwhelm myself and put expectations that I couldn't meet. I met myself there and said, what
yes,
can I do right now? And that's all I did. Sometimes it was meal by meal, moment by moment, but I refused to get ahead of myself and think about tomorrow. I didn't even have the energy to think about tomorrow. I was so broken.
yeah,
And so I just thought about what my next choice is
yeah,
right in front of me. And before I knew it, I was completely a different person. And
yeah,
I do give all glory to God, because it was through his guiding me that allowed me to find myself. He was the light for me to find myself. And I fell in love. I fell in love with me. I fell in love with him. And I fell in love with the truth that of who he creates us to be, and that we hold the power to live in that or not. We choose that. And it's
right,
really that simple. It is
yes,
really simple.
yes.
Yeah.
Angel, it's
Yeah.
always refreshing. You know that. You light up my soul. And
Thank you for having me.
yeah, thank you for sharing with our people. I just think it warms them. Um,
Yes. That's
every time you
great.
speak to a group of our people, they walk away feeling like they've
Mhm.
had a drink in their soul. So I
Yes.
appreciate you.
Yay.
Thank you for sharing your message and your light. And
Yes.
yeah, we'll do it
Thank
again. So
you. Yes.
thank
Thank you for
you.
having me.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.